guys, welcome back. You are now watching the conversation segment. This is when I have an awesome catch up and chat with one of my guests. And today's guest is a coach. Super excited to see what she's going to be coaching us through. Let's go and say hello. I am going to be speaking to Coach Betty. And just like her name suggests, she is an incredible, incredible life coach, one of the most recognized in Kenya. She is also an author. She also mentors people. And somehow within all that, she finds the time to also be a business consultant. I'm very excited to talk to her. Hi, Betty. How are you?
Hi, Susan, and I'm fine. How are you?
I am good. I can't complain. I'm very excited to be talking to you. Um, Today we're
Thank you
going to
for
have,
having me on the show.
yeah, I'm so happy. Um,
Thank you.
Today we're going to be discussing
Yes,
how can startup businesses be successful, right? We want to set off people
yes,
on the best possible business path, and we're going to look at the things
hmm
that make businesses succeed and the things that make businesses fail.
exactly. hmm
Yes, and I'm very excited. But before we even get to there, I have to ask Coach Betty, how have you been doing in quarantine? Have you been working from home? Are you up and about? What has this season been like for you?
Thank you, Susan. Thank you for having me, and thank you for asking how I'm doing. A lot of people don't ask that. It's casual, but I would say the first 3 weeks of COVID-19 were a bit tough for a lot of us, including myself. I have a staff of over 25. I didn't know what was going to happen to them.
Yeah.
I didn't worry too much, but something just told me, you had to think about it. The first 3 weeks were really, really difficult.
Mhm.
But being a leader in a business and being being the owner of the business, I can't worry and my staff members worry. So I quickly had to look for a way of the business surviving and the families surviving, because it means my staff members, they have families who depended on my business. And so I had to think quickly. You need mental toughness, yeah? And for all the business people, one of the important attributes to cultivate is mental toughness and preparedness, Susan. And what we always say in the coaching industry is,
Yeah.
stay ready. Don't be saying, I want to be ready. It's you stay ready. I have many coaches, but I have one business coach that taught me to always be on the ready,
Uh-huh.
stay ready, and cultivate a mental toughness, just, attribute, because tough times must come. COVID will be gone, we will forget, but another pandemic will come or another issue will
Issue.
come. It might not be COVID, but businesses are tough
That's
entirely. Yeah, so I quickly thought about it, and one of the things I decided to do for my business is to pivot. A pivot, so
yeah.
that the business doesn't crumble. And so we looked for ways of doing business safely. And even when we couldn't do because of restrictions and government policies, I looked for other business people and looked for how can we ensure that we remain open or we remain going, even if we don't do it at the scale we usually do it at least we are not closing our doors. So for now, I can say I think we are actually doing better,
Okay.
because I decided we are not wasting this crisis. And I looped my team in, and we looked for ways of ensuring that we pivot by collaborating with other people, by doing more marketing, aggressive marketing. And that has opened excellent doors for us, doors that I don't think I would ever have thought about if COVID never arrived. So I can say what really helped me is that aspect of mental toughness and staying ready. Yeah, so we are fine. We are good.
I'm so happy. I'm glad to hear that. That's great to hear for you and
Yeah,
for all your colleagues at your company as well. It's
exactly.
good. Yeah, it's good to hear some positivity. And it's very important for us to share those stories as well. And we're going to talk more about how businesses pivot and some of the things that you did within your company to ensure that you survive this period. But before we get there, I really want to know, before you were Coach Betty, you were just Betty.
So what inspired you to be a life coach? Because I don't think it's something a lot of people can do.
Thank you for that question. I worked for I worked for a telecommunications company, the best performing. So I must say I borrowed a lot of good business practices from the company I worked for. But deep down, I'm a driven person, and I'm someone who likes to see people succeed deep down.
Yeah.
Whether there's, whether I have the resources or not, what drives me is to see people activate and monetize the potential that is within them. So that's something that has always driven me. I would keep thinking, of course, I'm earning a good salary, I'm working for a good company, my family is fine, my husband is okay, we are doing well as a family, but is that all there is to life? Is that
Right.
all I came around here to do? So that feeling kept nudging me. And so at some point I thought, I'm not being very I'm not doing what I would love to be doing every day. Of course, I loved working for that company. My life was comfortable. I was fine, and I have no complaints whatsoever for my previous employer. But one day I just thought to myself, really, if I continue sitting here, the dream that I have to help a lot of people realize the purpose that is within them, not only realize it, but activate it. Because,
Right.
Susan, a lot of people, they know they are gifted.
Yes.
They know they can do something with their gifts.
Yes.
They know there is more to life than they are achieving, but they don't do anything about that. They are probably afraid. They don't know the how. They don't know how that goes. So year 1, year 2, year 10, they're just, I want to do this. I
Yeah.
wish I could do this. So
Yeah.
I decided to be the person that bridges that gap. I want to. So I ask you, how are we going to do this? And so I help you move from I want to doing,
Yes.
so that you can become. So that it's a drive that I always had. It's an interest I always had. It's something that kept driving me. And so when I left the company I worked for, I got into training for corporates, but still I kept feeling this is good money, I like it, but I don't still feel like changing lives. And so one time I heard about life coaching, and I enrolled in a life coaching class, and I've enrolled in a lot of life coaching classes. And at some point I was like, this is what I've always wanted to do, helping people through change and through growth. That is what life coaching is about.
I love
And
that.
so I sat with a coach who helped me put that thing that was in my mind into words and package it into a program, which I call the Activate and Monetize Your Potential program. I've written a book, same title, Activate and Monetize Your Potential. So that's the program that I have been running. And so, yeah, so that's my journey, and that's where life coaching came from. It's not easy, but it's
Yeah.
totally fulfilling and it's totally enjoyable.
I love that. I think it's always incredible to see when somebody has found what they know that they are happy
Yeah,
doing and they're very passionate about it. But what I love more about your story is you actually discovered and pushed for your dream while you were already in employment. You were already out there, you're already a working woman, you already had a family, and you still pursued your dream.
yeah,
It shows that anyone can do it at any time. There's no limitations. You can start anytime.
exactly,
Yes, and I absolutely love that.
exactly.
Now, I have to ask because sometimes when somebody starts business, I can speak for myself personally. You begin the journey with a lot of excitement, a lot of psych, and then there's always that moment where you feel like you're lagging behind, or you're not doing everything for your business that you should be doing. But psyche meisha. So what I want to know
Mm-hmm.
is, are successful business owners born, or can you be taught? Are they made?
Or successful business owners, I will say that people come from different backgrounds. There are people who come from business families, like they've always run businesses. Their grandfather, their mothers, their fathers were always running businesses.
Right.
Someone like me, no one in our family ever ran a business. Never, not even a kiosk. before me. And so I knew I was taking a very big risk.
Right.
Of course, I had people advising me this is not the right thing to do. You are leaving a very good company that we all want to go and work for, but the drive couldn't let me. And so I can say for the people who've grown up in business, building families and communities, it's a bit easier for them because they've
That's
grown in
it.
it. It's, exactly, they know a few things that those of us who never grew up in a business environment never knew.
Right.
But for the people who've grown up like me that didn't know nothing about business, I actually learned about business from the company I worked for a little bit because just as an employee. But I can say, Susan, that you can actually make a business person, and I'll speak from my perspective. For me, I have been made by industry experts who have become my networks.
Yes.
My coaches have played, I think, 70% of the role. You know, what a coach does for you is they show you the how, the secrets that other business people are never going to tell you because they probably don't want you to know and maybe join and compete with them. A coach will guide you through that because they've been there, they have clients who have been there and done that. So I can say for my case, for someone who never grew up in a business community, the people who have helped me grow are my coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I have a life coach, I have a business, I have different kind of coaches because coaching really, really takes you to the next level.
Yeah,
Industry experts and
I'm sorry, I love that
sorry?
you're a coach who has so many coaches because it shows that you actually truly believe in how much coaching can impact someone's life.
Exactly. I cannot be preaching water and drinking wine on the side. I've got to be it. I've got to live it. And for me, Susan, this comes from deep down my heart. I am showing people what I know. I'm showing people what I live.
Right.
And the reason my business is doing well and has been doing well is actually because of coaching. And I wouldn't hide it from anybody. I read a lot. And I've always been reading.
Yeah.
And I know quite a lot from the books. But the difference between forever reading and storing information in your head and having a coach is that a coach actually helps you implement. So of course I had been reading a lot financial, I had been reading a lot of books, but implementing on my own, it's difficult. You know that how many times do we say, oh, I'll be waking up at exactly 5, I'll read a book a month, I'll be a good mama, I'll cook for my family once a week. I'll work out, I will read a lot, I'll visit my parents once a month. How many times do we say that? It's what we call the want. I want to, I wish to. But with a coach, one of the areas I struggled a lot in my business is the finances, managing my finances, my personal finances, my business finances. And I really struggled, and that didn't work very well for the business. But the day I got a business coach, he made it clear that, I need to see where are your business finances. So how are we going to run this? And so I had always wanted to have 2 separate accounts until when I got someone step in and say, we're going to have 3 separate accounts. And of course, he explained the reason why. So I can say there is, you can actually make a business person, but using the right channels, coaching, mentorship, just learning from your networks. If you're in the right networks, a lot of us business people are spending our spare time in the wrong networks that are not adding any value to the businesses that we are trying to build. And of course, today there's also social media. We learn a lot from YouTube. I, for example, have a YouTube channel. It's called Coach Betty Mwaura. I give a lot of free tips on business. So whoever has, even if you've never run a business and decided to watch all those videos I put out there and other coaches who are on YouTube, you would move a step or 2 ahead, but it really, really pays to have an accountability partner. And for me, the accountability partners I have are in the name of coaches. I would love my husband to be, but you see that doesn't work very well.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's important to be very frank and honest with one.
Exactly.
Some people have
Yeah.
accountability partners that are their spouses, but others have their best
Yeah.
friend or their parent or their sibling,
Exactly.
because you know that person who will not take an excuse, and somebody who you know is actually able to
Yeah.
ask you. And I think sometimes it's actually just about having someone to ask you, hi Suzanne, you said that you are going to, you know,
Do this.
do this and this on
You're
your
writing a book.
business. Yeah, or you are going to open an Instagram page for your business, or you're, so have you done it? All you need is somebody who will actually ask you that question, because the moment they ask you that question, you activate and you're like, oh, I had said I was going to do it, and I shared that information and I
Exactly.
haven't done it. So that's great. And of course, if your
Exactly.
accountability partner is a coach, a trained and certified coach, you're now in the best hands possible.
Susan, you know, the reason sometimes we don't advise people to have your spouse, your sister, your brother, your best friend, those people love you and they love to see you succeed. No, mostly they love to see you not fail. So anything that looks like will make you feel like a hard business, they want to protect you from it.
That's
So
true.
if my spouse asks me, so what happened to this money? And I agitate and say, oh, you know, this and this happened, he will listen, he'll leave me alone and probably forgive me. Your best friend is gonna tell you, don't worry about it, we'll make more money. But your coach is gonna tell you, no, you've got to be accountable. What happened to this money? How could you pick business money to buy a luxury and you didn't earn it? One of the things my coach taught me is, you can have all the luxury you want, Betty, but you've got to earn it. And so that has stuck with me. I know if I told my best friend I want to buy this kind of a luxury car, she would say, go ahead, is there money in the account? Let's go buy a car. So that's one of the reasons that we discourage our coaching students and the people who follow us from having very close relations as your accountability partner when it comes to business.
Right.
When it comes to business, yeah.
I like that. Yeah, that's true. It's good. Have it very clear, and yeah, if there's somebody with emotional ties, I now understand how things can get confusing and not very helpful.
Exactly.
Now,
Exactly.
somebody
Exactly.
who is starting a business today, or somebody who
Yes.
opened a business a year ago, both of them being
Mhm.
startups, you talked about pivoting. And right now, a lot of those businesses, whether they are 10 years old, 100 years old, or 1 year old, they are having to adapt very quickly. And what I want
Yes.
you to give advice on is business pivoting. For you to pivot, how do you advise these businesses to pivot in the environment that we're in today?
Thank you, Susan. That is true. Businesses that have been in existence for years. I know you know the story of the airlines. Who thought
Yeah.
that all the airlines globally, the entire industry, would ground their aircrafts? Who thought? Who thought such an amount of loss would hit an industry?
Yeah.
The hotel industry, the aircraft industry, the tourism industry, and many other industries that are dependent on traveling.
Yeah.
They've been seriously hurt.
Yeah.
So those are the big boys and girls. Of course, we have many other sectors that have been affected, a lot of other sectors.
Yeah.
And there are lots of other sectors that are growing exponentially.
Very true.
And so for any businessman and woman, we said you stay ready. This was the time for the aircraft industry to suffer, the tourism industry, the travel industry, and many, many other industries. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. So the owners of Facebook, Amazon, and these other industries that are doing very well, Zoom, tomorrow we'll have another COVID. It might not be COVID name, but we'll have another kind of COVID that might affect the industries that are working very well today. So what I will tell the business people who I meet, you know, we are all in this. We are affected in one way or another. What separates those who will remain and those who will really not see light of day is how quickly we can adopt and adapt, is how quickly we can adopt new ways of doing business, is how quickly we can adapt to the change, and how quickly we can pivot our businesses. And we don't have all the time to do this. We really do not. So it's upon the business person to know which is my industry, what are the changes that I can do to ensure that my business remains. One of the things I did with the Royal International, which is the coaching company that I use, is to pivot by collaborating with Coach Irene and with other coaches. And this collaboration is interesting because we are now getting international calls from other coaches wanting to collaborate. So one of the things we did was to quickly collaborate. That means we had to, move out of one office and share an office, which is a very good plus for the two businesses. We now share resources. We now share a lot. We share time. Coach Irene, do this, let Betty do this, because we don't have all the time in the world to pivot.
True.
And another way we quickly got adapted is to prepare online courses, because we now cannot have large classes of coaching students. We did online courses, and we are selling online courses even in the crisis. And the course we are selling is called Mindset and Money Makeover course. And that's what is going to help businessmen and career like you people who are employed. How do you adapt very quickly? Because all employers are suffering this fate. Okay, a few of them are not, but many of them are. How do you quickly shift your mindset from what you know to what is working? So what we traditionally know is to get people in a coaching room, executives, and take them through a coaching program for a whole 8 weeks. Now we don't have that. We can't even be together. There's physical distancing. So what we did is to prepare courses so that someone can buy the course, pay their money via electronic means, have the programs on their computer, print them if they wish, and learn at their own pace. Of course, we have community groups that for the people who paid for the program, come discuss your questions there, brainstorm, ask the coaches, and life is going on. So I would tell the businesses to quickly look for a way of pivoting. If, for example, let me not use the service industry. If, for example, you are selling books, I know a friend of mine who sells books, and children are no longer going to school. So you are there with your books. What do? You probably could call other booksellers so that you are 10 of you. You combine forces and come up with a program for the parents, and tell the parents, during this season, we want to sponsor an online program, or we want to sponsor your kids to this program. And they work with us. I'm a parent, and someone who would care about me right now would be very welcome when COVID is over. So they work with us during this period. And when the crisis is over, we remain with those ones who remained with us when there was a crisis.
That's true.
But if you stay home and decide life is too difficult, I don't know what to do, you have to think fast, and you have to think solutions. Think fast, think solutions. Because what a lot of people do is complain. They score, we cannot go to work, the president is unfair. Others are like, the president should lift the ban, the president should keep the curfew. So those things don't help. Those things are complaints. Think solutions. How can I find a solution to my current problem? Think quick, think solutions, and think what can take your business to the next level.
I absolutely love that. And I think that's so true. And I like what you said about it being quickly. Anyone who is even watching right now, if you've not pivoted, it's okay. What Coach Betty is saying is you can do it now, and you need to do it fast. And I really like that. And you have emphasized also on collaborating. I think within our industries, we, for some reason, we have both become so competitive against each other. You can't even sit on the same table and have lunch if you're in the same industry. But I like what you're saying now. Now it's actually the opposite. It's a time for us to come together, to realize all these customers are ours. And we are the ones who can make sure that they're able to access our goods and that it's easier for them despite whatever environment, whatever pandemic, whatever crisis we're currently going through, and that's a great
Exactly.
thing. I have seen that we're almost running out of time. I cannot believe this time is moving so quickly. But
It's
Betty,
too short.
I know, right? But I still have one more
Yeah,
thing I'd
too
really like
short.
for you to share with our guests,
Okay.
all our viewers.
Mm.
A lot of people, when starting businesses or when they're about to scale, to expand their businesses,
Mhm.
they deal with fear. We stop a lot of things
Exactly.
because we are scared. Now, for
Mhm.
your final takeaway, Coach Betty, I would really like you to tell our viewers how to deal with and overcome fear to start or to build on.
Thank you, Susan. Actually, for the many years I've offered coaching, and for the many coaches I know around the world, including my own coach,
Mm-hmm.
there's not a single human being that doesn't deal with fear. Everybody at their level deals with
Deals
some
with
fear
fear.
of some sort. And so there are those currently there are those dealing with the fear of this is too much. This growth is unprecedented. I don't know what to do with this company.
Yeah.
And everybody deals with some form of fear on probably an everyday basis,
Right.
and especially if you are in business. But what I would like business people to know is that fear is an emotion,
It is.
just like any other emotion. And so who is in charge? You are in charge. And so fear will come, and fear will be here until the end of time. So how I personally deal with fear is acknowledging that I'm feeling afraid. And then after acknowledging that I'm feeling afraid, I will bring the issue on the table. What am I afraid of? So a lot of people will come and tell me, oh, coach, I wanted to start a business 10 years ago, but I wondered what would happen. So
Yeah.
I asked them, so after wondering, what did you do? Nothing. I stayed at where I'm employed. And so this is when I'm thinking of leaving my work. And so I would always tell them, when you feel the fear,
Mm-hmm.
think about I think I want to say, acknowledge that you feel some form of fear,
Yes.
and then take action on that fear. So you decide, I feel afraid to start this project. Why do I feel afraid? I feel that I might fail. I might, because it's not a must you fail. People
Yeah.
start businesses and they work.
Right.
So I fear that I might fail.
Mm-hmm.
So the next question you ask yourself, why do I fear that I might fail? Why? And it always falls back to, I tried another time and I failed.
Yeah.
There's a time I tried and my partner said I would fail, and for sure I failed.
Yeah.
My mother tried and failed. My colleague, started a business and failed. So there's always a reason at your subconscious that makes you think you will fail. So that is what you should confront. Why am I feeling like I would fail? And so after knowing that reason, would you now take the next step and probably go talk to your colleague and ask, by the way, Susan, this a time you had a business of delivering juice. What happened to your business? And Susan tells you, I was using a middleman to supply me juice. Then I would sell the juice to a big hotel. Then at the back of your mind, you've learned a lesson. You decide, all right, I think or you ask the person, what do you think the problem was? The
Yeah.
problem was using a middleman. So you've gone a step ahead to know what not to do. You probably don't know what to do, but at least you know what not to do. What not to do.
Very
And
true.
one of the things, Susan, that has always encouraged me to deal with fear is to know, and I learned this from my business coach. He told me, Betty, I'm a very successful business coach.
Mm-hmm.
He also has coaches who are very successful. But he
Right.
told me, he lives in America. He told me there's not a single coach of mine, there's not a single businessman I know who doesn't fear every single day, who doesn't face fear every single day. And so he told me, in business, out of 365 days, if you have 50 good days, out of the 365, you're very successful.
Wow, that's amazing. I
And
feel
so he
very good,
told,
by the way. And my business actually does deliver juice. So thank you for that plug
oh,
in.
How did I know that? I think so. And what really helped me is to know that he told me you will have very many failing days and you will have many, many disturbing days and you will have many bad days.
Yeah.
But the few days that you will have, the few good days that you have, if you follow my instructions and do the right thing, they are going to override all the bad days that you have. So think about Zoom, the Zoom guy. Of
Yeah.
course, he's had a lot of failures and a lot of problems. Look at the few months that COVID has come. It has really, really overtaken every bad thing that has ever happened to him. So for business people, it's not served on a silver platter, but it's doable and it's totally fulfilling. And I don't like to discourage if anyone from doing this. Just know you need mental toughness to deal with fear, to deal with whatever will come, to deal with failures, and really deal with business. Business is about that.
I love that. That is amazing. Very inspiring for anyone in business, new or old. I myself feel very inspired, Coach Betty. I would like for you to share with our viewers where they can find you,
Yes.
find your services,
Okay.
your YouTube, and even the collaboration you have with Coach Irene.
All right. Thank you so much, Susan, for giving me this opportunity. The viewers can find me on YouTube. My channel is called Coach Betty Mwaura. I speak a lot of things about business there. It's free. Go find out what you can, you can learn. I also have a page called Coach Betty Mwaura on Facebook, and my personal account is Betty Mwaura. We are collaborating with Coach Irene already. You can look out for her as well and follow her. We've been doing a lot of live videos during this COVID season to help you pivot. All of you guys, the business people, the employed people, the whole humanity, we wanted to give back. And so follow the series. It's not going to be there forever. So when it lasts, follow the series. And anyone who would like to drop me an email, info@royaldigital.com.
I love that.
Royal is double L.
Double L. Awesome.
Yeah, double L.
Thank you so much, Coach Betty. Continue doing your hard work to help people activate, right?
And monetize.
And monetize their potential. I love that.
Absolutely.
It has been amazing chatting with you. Have an amazing day.
Thank you so much, Susan. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.
That was amazing. If you have a business that you have just started like me, I hope you are up and running and motivated and ready to go. Okay. I need to ask Coach Betty about setting up those 3 business accounts and what that means, because our girl needs to get on it. This has been Conversations. Massive thank you to Betty again as well. You guys know what we do at the end of this. I love to share something that the guest said that really hit home with me. And today, when I was talking to Coach Betty, she talked about when you have a dream and then you identify the dream and you want to work on the dream, and this dream is starting a business or whatever it is, remember, please remember the most important things. You have to stay ready. Yes, COVID-19 is affecting us now, or many, many, many other problems, but there are going to be future hurdles, there are going to be future obstacles. The most important thing for you to remember is to stay ready. That's Sura's Cut. You can find me on social media on Instagram @Sura_Common, on Twitter @Joroge_, Facebook Sura Common. It's been Conversations. Let's go and enjoy the artist segment so much, and the funny TikTok videos.